Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Force Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Necroxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and players, starting with Team Red up here in the northeast and ending with Blue Team down here in the southwest. Good luck and have fun, says Snow One, and hopefully all our players will do so. Let's go ahead and introduce the rear guard air slot here for Team Red. It is Funk off going first, land as a Cybran in a crimson or Chevy crimson, very sensible color for the Cybran faction. To his rest in ruby red, we have the player of Pet Genadevich. I'll call him Petra, I think is what I'm going to call him, or Gene. He's going first, land as a UEF in ruby red. And last but not least here for Team Red, we have No Red for You going first, land as an Aeon in orange, the color orange. And given the name, saying No Red for You, hopefully he's not talking to his other teammates or himself, because he is playing orange and not a red color. And that is Team 1. We have a UEF, a Cybran, and an Aeon, no Seraphim Tech for Team 1. Or actually Team Red. Down here in the south for Blue Team, we have Denyo going first, land second air as an Aeon in royal blue. To his east in Stitch Blue, we have Snow 1 or SNWO1. I'm going to call him Snow. All I have to do is change the O and the W around. He is going Cybran, going first, land in Stitch Blue. And last but not least here for Team 1 in Amethyst Purple, we have the UEF player of Kane. He's going first, second, land, and probably land all day. And for Team 2, their racial composition is the exact same as Team 1. We have an Aeon, a Cybran, and a UEF. So no Seraphim represented in this game. Apologies to those who love the Seraphim. Let's take a look here at Reclaim here very quickly before our players scoop it all up. It is 7,035. So probably estimating about a 7.25. I don't think 7.5 is... I think it's kind of out of the question. So we'll probably go 7,250 mass for our players to scoop up. And in terms of mass points, well, we got actually a decent chunk of them. We got three chunks of 3 with additional kind of splattered about. And we have a 4, and then 3, and another 4, and then so that's a lot of mass just right there on that southern side. So it'll be a lot of, what is that, 7 main sections of mass, plus there's, groups of 2 and stuff kind of, around the map. But essentially it'll be a lot of mass very quickly, especially when our players upgrade to T2 and then, of course, T3, if they make it to that point. Let's go ahead and see tactical movements here in the beginning. We have a couple units out here from Petra, or I call him Genadevich. I think that's, again, don't know how to pronounce that. Apologies for that. We'll probably call him Petra would be the easiest way to do it. He is going west. We have a Spirit here for Team 2's player of Denyo. It does look like encounters will start. Mech Marine trying to charge forward against this Snoop. Not against this Snoop, with this Snoop. Trying to take out these flares. They will both engage. Who will get the victory? But it does look like the flare will win that encounter. Another Mech Marine comes in. Oh, dodges a couple of shots. Is still on. The flare's still online. The Snoop might get a shot in. Still missing that flare. The flare goes down to another Mech Marine, and now there's a striker on the field. And Team Red Blue will take that early victory. We have a bomber here out from the air player of Funk. He is pushing south. Probably going to go after these 2 units here, or maybe even go further deep and go after a couple of these engineers. The comms of all 3 players have moved out of their starting bases. Same with here with Team Red. But it does look like Red Team is a little bit slower. We can just tell that due to the fact that Funk has not even reached this section of mechs yet. And the comm of Denyo has actually gone past that. We can see also as well the comms of No Red for You. Not close enough to this position yet, like his opponent of Kane. And of course down here in the northern section, Petra, looks like it's a little bit closer in terms of distance, but Blue Team was a little bit ahead on the jumping of the gun and pushing outward. And you got to do that early on, especially in a map like this. Lots of open area, not really a whole lot of places to hide. There is kind of a top, middle, and bot lane. They've actually kind of been forming naturally just given the position of the players. But it's not super defined. I mean, you have this little quarter up here and on the west side, kind of denoting that kind of northwest corner here for the top side. Same down here in the bot side, but the middle is just really wide open. You only have 4 of these little plateau sections, these mountains that had their tips cut off to form these plateaus. And these interceptors taking a nice little break from their flying around. Their fuel not going to be wasted. They do regen fuel while staying idle. So that is, I didn't know that. I thought it was just a one and done thing, but I guess not. Anyway, a couple of units from Amethyst player of Kane pushing around this northern side of this plateau, trying to take out probably these group of engineers going for a factory, but actually, are they going to go for it? They're going to continue northward. A bomber has spotted them, and it should be tasked with turning around and dealing with those, but it may continue on westward. Who knows? Transport does drop in one engineer, but there's a bomber. Ooh, nearby. Air Scout will fly overhead. A couple of interceptors will go after that transport. The bomber will now notice it and take that engineer out fairly quickly. Units down here from Amethyst, player of Kane, being shot at by a bomber from the sky. There is going to be a radar installation put here. We'll see if that gets staying online for now. But one striker does fall. A couple of mechs are under threat. One striker here for Team Red. Oh, that striker ran into some of that fire. One mech goes down. I wouldn't be surprised if these other 2 mechs go down. Another striker goes down. This one will probably make it to the target, but then be summarily destroyed. Oh, still online. Has half of its hit points still online. And oh, another lineup, and it's gone. 2 mechs were destroyed in that encounter, but 2 is better than none. The comm here in the middle of the map, staving off another attack here from, not Daniel, from Kane. I have to keep track of who is who. But comm engagements will start to occur here in the middle between Kane and No Red for You, telling his opponents and his teammates and himself that no one can be red, and if he can't be red, nobody can. But again, he's orange, so that doesn't really line up with that statement. But they're just going to throw plasma in each other's faces for a little bit. Red for You does have less hit points than the comm of Kane in terms of max, but in terms of current hit points, Kane is already in the yellow, and No Red for You isn't even the yellow as of yet. But they'll wrap up hit points pretty quickly. They're only 10 hit points a second. When it's only them firing at one another, it's not going to take a little bit, not a whole lot of time to wrap those up. Those look like front lines are starting to form. Blue team was able to grab this northwestern section of the map, getting the facility down to juvenize the forces up here to the northwest for blue team, and then obviously the mass points and a radar. Would like to see maybe a PD, maybe more units on the ground. They're producing engineers. One more will do it, and then a bunch of Aurora. So do like to see that. A bunch of bombers here for Team Red, player of Petra. The main air player of Funk, not really focusing on producing air, has gone T2 already at 8 minutes, and is probably going T3 as we speak, a quarter of the way already there. T3, hasn't even been started for Denyo, so he's going to be a little bit behind, but he's focusing a lot more on expansion. That will give him a lot more mass to play with. He is at only 37. Wow, that's actually for how much mass points he has. He hasn't upgraded a lot of his points. Versus we see Funk, he has 59 and has upgraded, all the ones in the core mass are starting to branch out southward. His comm is on this eastern side, building a couple of land facilities to reinforce. There's a lonely engineer here for the player of Snow, but not really worrying about that. Gun damage and range going down here for Kane. That is the first upgrade of the match. This will do a whole lot of damage here to No Red for You in the middle of the map. Strikers try to kind of avoid the comm of No Red, but it does look like they're going to run into a PD about to come online. Take out the radar installation, please. Yep, it has gone. Thank you. Love to see that when radar is destroyed, denying the opponent eyes and ears of the battlefield. But unfortunately here for Team Blue or Blue Team, there's a lot of radar here for them. It does look like to the west a couple of bombers do kind of circle overhead, but an AA gun will take them out. But a large group of forces here for the air player of Team 2 or Blue Team. It is Denyo. That's a lot of land forces. and that's going to halt his ability to produce the upgrade and mass necessary to go T3. Hasn't even started the upgrade yet. That will give Funk the advantage in the game. This is an overwhelming force here for Denyo, to be fair. So this position will fall fairly quickly, especially with the not the advanced range, but the range on those Aurora. You can see that's how far out they can go. Versus Petra's units, they can barely even see them given their vision and range. But they are going to be forced to retreat. This position will fall fairly quickly. There's even some fervors in there to deal with the buildings here. But with all this Aurora, Team 1 needs to focus a little bit more on this northwestern side. They even have more bleeding here. There's even an AA gun accompanying those units. It gets taken out, but at least the attempt to protect those units was made. It does look like all of Team 1 has gone at least for one upgrade. T3 has been completed here for Funk, and he's going to start pumping out those air units as we speak. All of Team 2 has gone for T2 in their respective fields. Stealth going on the way here for the comm of Snow. He has the gun upgraded already. Kane pushing against No Red for You. He has no upgrade versus Kane's gun upgrade. He does have T2 available to him and is pumping out a couple of Oblivions. Wouldn't be surprised to see a couple more just to help secure and just punish that comm for pushing forward. But Petra is moving north to help cover this top lane, but he's suffering in this northwestern side of the middle. No Red's going to have a lot to worry about. He has to cover the whole middle section now that the player of Petra has been kicked off, and that's going to leave a huge hole for Blue Team to exploit. But of course the ASFs coming on the station here for Funk will definitely help in the assistance in terms of keeping air control. They have air control just flat out for the fact that they have ASFs and Team 2 does not. And of course this early in the game, no one has the AA to suppress those ASFs, so it's essentially going to be air victories for now for Funk. But the comm of Petra is being surrounded by a bunch of Aurora. He's getting a lot of efficiency for his comm, but that's a lot of firepower raining down on him. Team 1 or Red Team needs to push in and help assist the comm. Petra stood still, not the best idea here. Maybe he's going to just commit suicide, not commit suicide, but Control K and take out a lot of these Aurora. And that is the first kill. Oh, well, what am I doing there? Says Petra. Well, he ran into that, probably misclicked or something. And there it went. A transport will land. Will it get there? Engineers get dropped off. The transport dies. Those engineers are summarily transferred over, and both of the NGs are destroyed. More, again, bleeding here to the northwest here for Team 1, but there are a couple of blazes with a shield on station. These strikers do not stand a chance. Air scouts overhead will note that Team 1 has gone for T3 air. Has the upgrade been started yet? But it is a little late. 13 minutes should already either have it finished or just be very, very close at this point. Pumping out, of course, a lot of ASFs. He's already built his T3 power generator and is now starting to expand his air grid. What is his mass at per second? Well, he's only at 96 or 93. Denyo, the lowest stacking player in terms of mass per second, and he's the air player. He needs a lot more mass. And given his land control, and he controls essentially this whole western side, really need to sort that out. Well, we have Funk is being surrounded by forces from Snow. It's Cybern versus Cybern. Mantis are trying to help assist with the upgrade on that comm. The comm trying to pump out as much damage as he can. He's dropping into the yellow. Sub 6,000 hit points, dropping very rapidly. He's not going to move from this spot. Snow is going to win this fight, and it's now going to be a 3v1 here for Red Team. It is No Red for You versus the world. Sub 20 minutes, both of the players are gone, and now No Red for You is essentially going, well, I need a kill. But Obsidian and Blazes are going to push forward, and they might just get the comm of Kane right here. Kane kind of outnumbered in terms of tech. He is bringing in his own strikers to try to force No Red for You off. He even has pillars in the mix as well. No Red for You kind of walked a little bit too far forward. The Obsidians are taking a lot of the incoming fire, and now the strikers are pushing forward to help assist. More and more forces are coming in for both of these teams. No Red for You has stopped moving, trying to kill as many of these strikers as he can. He has one rank of veterancy versus the almost second range of veterancy here for Kane. And he's trying to get out of the mix, but just constant firing. Shield's trying to cover the comm as best he can. Kane should be going for the comm of no red for you. If this comm dies, it is a victory here for blue team without suffering any losses. It would be a flawless victory. Up in the hills make it kind of annoying for these players to maneuver and shoot their shots against their opponents. But a couple of blazes here to the north with assisting Obsidians. Overcharges going in all the time into the Obsidians. Definitely a good choice, taking out all their hit points. But Shield's going to cover the comm. Not the best idea because they're not protecting the actual unit. They're just hovering over the comm. Of the opposing comm, actually. But now it's kind of settled down a little bit. The comm of Snow goes, okay, I got my kill. I'm going to see you later. Run away, get ACU shield, says Funk. And now we'll have two people in the chair here for red team, or I guess orange team. There's no red for you, so it's now orange team. Kane is pushing forward once again. No red for you is in the red. Sub almost 2,000 hit points. Now it's sub 2,000 hit points. Oh, that was a misclick. Wanted to keep retreating, but a couple of shields will help assist in shielding up that comm. But Kane pushed forward probably a little too bit far forward. A Whaler is brought forth. Sub 700 hit points, 300, 200, 100. Gets a rank of entry, but it doesn't matter. And that is a kill here for no red for you. He needed that kill to realistically stay in this game. It was going to be a 3v1, and now it is a 2v1 here for Team 2. They're still in the lead in terms of players left alive. But now all of the eco for Team 1 is focused directly into whatever no red for you wants. And now he's going to be pumping out some units on the front line. And of course going to be pumping out T3 air support as well. He has some Whalers being brought forth as we speak. Still expanding that air grid. Does look like maybe he control K'd a facility. I don't see any issues with that. But it has produced T3 land and is pumping out Titans as we speak as well to deal with this threat to the northwest. A group of Titans, Shields, Blazes, and a couple of Lobos. Actually, a couple of Strikers and one Lobo. Kind of just sitting on a range of these Aurora. This force could take them out, but they're not pushing the issue now. Of course, it's a lot of APM to manage this huge field of view. And, of course, as I say something, now the units move. But they'll fire at range against these Aurora. The Aurora can't really do a lot of damage. They can do a lot of damage. But it's just the shields protect the Titans for a little bit, and then the rapid-fire nature of those Titan cannons take out a lot of them. They are tinfoil Auroras for a reason. Intel installations. Mechs is being taken out by a couple of these Whalers. Team 2's air player of Denyo needs to get on top of this. A couple of air scouts are pushing forward. Interceptors are moving in to assist. There is some AA on those Whalers, so they're not completely defenseless. But they're not restorers, so they're not the best at taking out air units or additional air units. But a couple of T2 units grouping up here for the player of Daniel. He has taken over the whole western side of the map, leaving Snow with the southern portion. The comm of red for you underneath a decent amount of mobile shield coverage. Should probably get a T2 shield online to protect himself, but he does have a TMD as well. The Volcanoes, of course, they are the best T2 tactical missile defense in the game. Missiles raining in all the time, probably here from Team 2. Will that impact the ground? No, it won't, just barely, and it'll snipe this T2 Mechs. These were upgrading as we speak, and that one is taken out, unfortunately, here. But Harbinger is making their appearance for this southern section of the map. T2 PD online here for Snow. These forces parking themselves right inside the range. You can see the exact range. Yep, just right inside the range. They'll fall back. Snow brought forward to try to help that, but fall back, attack elsewhere, says Funk. Make shield plus PD, says him as well. Funk being very effective here as of course, the man in the chair. He's like me, except can't see the other side of the other side of the game in terms of Team 2. So he's able to say, look, you should do this. There's units over here. Watch this over here. So he can focus more on not managing the units, but just kind of pointing things out. They start attacking the engineers here. Not the engineers here, the Whalers here for no red for you. And they are caught unawares, and they will die off, unfortunately. But they got a lot of mass killed. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 mass points killed off. Would have liked to see this radar gone, but it is kind of tucked away in the corner, so I will forgive no red for you for not seeing that in there. T2 radar in the middle here for Team 2. Team 1 or orange team or no red for you needs to get some sort of intel here for the middle of the map. Needs to know when units are moving in so he can adjust his plans. But he's taken out that whole northern side. There's a couple of mexes, but essentially not really any threat here. And in terms of time, we're at 20 minutes. It's a 2v1 scenario. Let me know down in the comments who do you think is going to win. Again, it is a 2v1. No Red For You does have the issue of he is the highest rated player on his team, but APM is starting to be taxing, of course, because it's, again, a 2v1. But the highest rated player in the game and on team 2 or blue team is killed off by him. So there's a give and take. There's pluses and minuses going on right now, but it does look like No Red For You is going to group his forces here and attack this western base over here. Does look like they're getting some Oblivion turrets built up, and they're going to take out the first couple of forces, but that's a lot of T3 assault bots to deal with. The shield will fall fairly quickly. Let's get a nice shot of the incoming threat. It does look like those Titans are being a little bit standoffish. They could try to go underneath the shield, which I think they're going to now. And they're going after the PD directly. Take out the shield, there you go, and then take out the PD. And then now those forces from the north are coming in as well to help assist. This western position will fall fairly quickly. The PD is almost gone. They're attacking the units first, then the PD. Definitely an interesting strat. Could take out the PD first. And then they're going to actually leave a couple PD online. That's... Oh, okay, maybe... okay, they took them out. Okay, they took them out. I was like, But that western PD... No, western PD. Western forces are grouping up once again. This is a huge issue for Team 2 down to deal with. They need a response. Their main force is in the middle. This is going to be drawn out of position. Had No Red For You built an additional force here, he could charge that forth. At least taking out this position with the radar. The radar not even under shield coverage. Could build a strat bomber and just send it in and take it out. But main focus, of course, is taking out infrastructure in terms of land facilities and mexes. We can even tell the eco here for Team 2 dropping slightly as this wave of orange pushes its way down southward. Fully ringed mechs, T2 mechs is all around, so that's 6, 12, 18, 24. And it's going to be a lot of mass just chipped off here for Team 2. Would like to see some AA, of course, here for No Red For You, but he's dealing with a lot, so I will forgive him if he forgets one little thing here and again. And he's doing a lot, considering he was almost killed off in the middle. He's taking the whole northern side. He's getting mexes all the time. He needs to rebuild these mexes. It looks like nano repair has been done for Snow. Forces constantly raiding everywhere here for Orange Team. And now the main force is retreating. And now, since those forces were brought in to defend, he's going to now take it and ram it down their throats in the middle. I love this fade tactic where you go for one target, and as the forces move in to engage, you go for the other target instead. It's not a pit maneuver. There's a term for it. Can't think of it off the top of my head. But it's like not dip and fade, not bob and weave. That's like maneuvering through things. Oh, what is that term called? It hasn't been the first time where I've thought of, like, there's a term that perfectly encapsulates what I'm saying. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But a battery of triads puncturing these shields. They'll take out one of them, but the Titans get very close, take out the radar. So Team Blue is blind, at least mostly in the middle of the map. And now this position will fall. There's only one facility here in terms of land. I did see Percival's. It's almost dead, but hey, it still can do full damage at 1 health, so, you know, might as well. High alpha damage. And now this position here for Denyo will be taken out. Looks like he had some E-storage. It's not the best place to put them on the front line. They are very volatile. You see all that rapid fireness from these Titans just making their way through the enemy bases. Now huge chunks of infrastructure are just gone. Even down here in the south, we have a counter push here from some bricks and loyalists running into some harbingers. It does look like the loyalists and bricks will win this engagement, but the harbingers are retreating back to a safe position. There's a PD here, a couple of PD actually, so that will help with defenses on that eastern side. The Calm of Snow kind of starting to be kind of cut off from his friendly territory forces. You can see that he has a couple of bouncers. Do like that. Mobile AA. Probably should put that next to his comm to prevent some air snipes, at least discourage air snipes. But air fight over the top here against these gunships. T2 Spectres from the Aeon player of Denyo. These engineers trying to pump out flak as much as they can. They're doing a decent job of it. They've actually pushed off some of those gunships. And T1AA being spammed up here for No Red For You. But they're going to bypass all of that taking a page out of No Red For You, and we'll just go full send and go after the mass points directly. Would like to see a couple of A's have retasked to deal with this problem, or even just produce some Cougars here from this T3 land headquarters. But a large T2, T1, T3 army here in the middle here for No Red For You. I don't think it's enough to full send it against Denyo and just go straight back, but they could go after the comm of Snow. One solitary little sniper bot gets taken out. A couple more are being put into position to deal with it. Snow might have misclicked. I don't know. He's moving here. He's going to be in range of those sniper bots. I wonder if No Red... No, he doesn't know he's there. Okay, so that's why they're not targeting him. I think there's stealth on that commander, right? Yeah, there is nano repair. Yeah, nano repair, so that means there is stealth on it. So they don't see him for now. Once he's in vision, they'll know. But T2 has been completed here for the player of No Red For You. Needs to go T3 immediately to get that Omni sensor online. Snow is going to keep pushing forward, but eventually, of course, Snow, you're going to be spotted. And the overcharges will let them know, yep, you are the comm. He'll take out the sniper bots, and he keeps dipping in and out of vision, so he's not detected. But does look like No Red For You will retreat off the front line. T3 Omni is going to start being produced. Well, maybe he'll be in range of that. But a large force to the west here from Denyo, going to try to skirt this western side and avoid detection. Does No Red For You notice it? He does notice the radar signature, so he knows, at least if he's paying attention, that that's what's going on. They're going to maneuver westward now. Looks like there are forces pulling in. These shields are kind of in range. Shouldn't be just shot at by some Cerberus. There are loyalists. It's like they're like thinking about it. They're thinking about engaging. They don't want to fully commit, but they're thinking about it. Maybe they're going to engage the western side here. A bunch of Titans, of course. There's a couple of Perseus. There's one up there. A lot of shield coverage. A lot of it. This will help protect against those Percy shots. You can deflect 3 of them before the shield falls. That is a huge amount of firepower. You can just go, no, not going to deal with it. Those Perseus are outnumbering Team 1s or red teams, at least the ones that are on the front line. The targeting things, of course, the hills have some issue to deal with it. You can tell the Perseus are missing shots just due to the fact of the environment. You got to watch out for those. But now the Titans fell back, and now they're going to push forward. They drew the Perseus in, and now the Perseus go, uh-oh, I think we made a mistake. Now they're going to start retreating on the other side of that hill. But the Titans are too fast. There's even assisting forces here from from Snow. Though one of them just gets outright sniped. Of course, the Loyalists aren't that strong versus the Bricks, but the Bricks are slower, so fast response. Definitely go for the Loyalists. EMP explosion, not really that effective, but a couple of Bricks do push forward, but there are Perseus in the mix. Of course, depending on the configuration in terms of numbers, Perseus usually win that fight unless there's just an exorbitant amount of Bricks, because the Perseus do more damage, but the Bricks do a lot of consistent damage. It's pretty much fire rate versus damage. It's essentially what we're getting at. You can see a lot of hit points just shredded on that Brick. Another shot takes that one out, so both the Bricks have been killed, but more Perseus arriving all the time. This force here from No Red For You getting very dangerous. Would like to see an experimental from somebody at this point. We are getting close to the 30-minute mark. T3 land, T3 air, T3 land, T2, going T3. So both players on Team 2 going air. That's probably that is not probably. It is a good choice. Just that you have 2 air forces to play with. But it doesn't look like either. Well, Team 2 is just using Denyo for now. He's holding his air forces back. Doesn't want to push that heavily because he doesn't want to lose it. It's probably smart, but again, a couple of T3 land facilities, and the air grid is getting nice and plump here. So I'm kind of surprised no one has gone for any like experimentals. No Monkey Lords, no Colossi, no Fat Boys. No one has gone experimental yet. But again, 30 minutes, you usually see, or I guess there's no chicken because there's no Seraphim. But you usually see that. But laser now almost done here for Snow. That's really early. Maybe he's going to use that on the front line. But you can see the nice little center slot for that laser going to spew out of its core. Very powerful. Needs to get very close to it. So It's pretty much a risky play, but this perimeter monitoring station here for Snow lets him see a whole lot and see all those forces here, so he knows exactly what's going on. He even knows there's a T3 Omni radar installation. And I think this, what's the rain on that? Okay, so he can see everything in this section guaranteed because of the Omni. Well, he can't, hold on, he can't see the comm. Well, that's the comm. No, that's the comm. So he can see the comm, he just doesn't, he hasn't picked up its original radar sequence initially. Yeah, that's the comm. Yeah. Just making sure. Yeah, you can see the comm even if you have stealth because of Omni, but they don't know exactly what you are until they spot you. Once they spot you, it pings, like it just dignifies that as the comm. And until you get out of Omni sensor, it will keep it on. But a couple of restorers here for the Aeon Air player here of Denyo. There's not a lot of AA here. A lot of T1 PD. There's a couple of T1 AA, but that's not enough to take out the shield. Very smart move. ASF's move in to protect. Cloaking going on the way here for Snow. Wants to make sure he is protected in both respects in terms of radar and vision. The comm of No Red for You, kind of just out in the open, not underneath shield coverage, not near units at all, just to produce some shields just in case. Kind of being a little lax with his air. Needs to pump out even more, but he doesn't want to risk it because if he goes for it, he'll lose his only air. So these restorers are just going to just operate en masse. A lot of PD. I think they'll take out, I think, one of the bricks. That'd be about it. Same range as all the other PD, but they suck on damage. They're only really designed to take out T1 and maybe some T2, and that's really about it. Of course, Team 1 could build Ravagers, or No Red for You could build Ravagers, but he needs a UEF engineer to do so. Looking about 50% of the way here for Snow. His position, of course, they're sitting in the remains of Kane. That little AoE explosion that we see on the ground. But a large T1 force to the west. Does look like they're going to... no, they won't engage, but they're trying to distract. Maybe pull the forces out here from Denyo. Again, Denyo is trying to manage air and land at the same time. And the ASFs here for No Red for You engage some of the restorers. They kill a few of them, and now the ASF have to retreat because the ASF here for Denyo are too great. And I feel like that's the field of battle or field of war that Team 1 should really try to grab, is the air. If they can control the air, they can control a lot more of this game. Yeah, they control a decent amount of section of the map, but when you're a 2v1 scenario and you're on the losing end of that, you want a huge advantage, and air would give you a huge advantage, especially now. But now that another player of Snow is going into the air game as well, it's going to be very difficult to grab that air control. And I feel like at this point, that's where Team 2 should focus, is the air specifically, because land is going to be, you lose land, you gain land, kind of stalemate, go into base wars. Not really a lot of progress, especially when you're facing only one player. You want to be a little bit on the, like, not super aggressive side, because if you dump too much mass, it might have the reverse effect of now they'll just be supercharged. But assassinating at least something on Team 1, maybe a couple of the air grids, just to delay it would be probably the best idea. I mean, they're pumping out T2 Ascendants, but they're not going to take out Restorers. Restorers are too strong, at least for those type of weapons. But it does look like this force is going to try to surround this secondary force here for No Red for You. We even have some Clink Hammers, Triads, Shields, Missile Launchers, so... It does look like this force was drawn out, and then now that main force merges with that smaller force, and now it's just an even, obviously, bigger force. I keep saying force a lot. Army. And now they're going to push forward. A lot of Percys, though. A lot of their shots do miss. They hit shields. There's even some Harbingers in the mix. That will retreat. Those Percys are the only thing keeping this force alive. A lot of their forces for T3 are on that northern side, and it looks like there's even more forces drawn in here from Snow and from the middle. These these loyalists will have to fall back. This position that was started here for No Red will pretty much be annihilated by artillery. The shield's still holding, though. It has. Oh, it does have 11,000. It is a decent amount for a shield. Versus the... What is this? Oh, that's a stealth field. What's the shield for the UEF? 9,000. So a couple more thousand, but the radius is not great. And then the Loyalists come in and just annihilate it, so it doesn't even matter. But they're building PD as we speak. Of course, it is not a direct fire weapon system. It is a projectile, so they can go over hills a little bit. But I feel like this main hill... Yep, this one they're going to struggle with. But if it's to the edges, it should be fine. But we have a bunch of these trebuchets launching artillery. This lonely little Harbinger is just getting wrecked constantly. But Fat Boy, over halfway completed here for Denyo. That might be the first experimental here of the game. No Red for You needs to get something going, needs to build a Colossus. That would be a great thing to add to his land army and push his advantage with that. But even having a SMD this far forward, there's no way he's building a nuke. No, he's not building a nuke. At least not in the most obvious place. Still has a mechs he can build. It looks like it was stopped, but needs to go fix that issue. And again, it's hard because you're trying to manage so much and figure out, gotta, replace mexes, upgrade mexes, that sort of thing. A couple of Titans coming off that production line up here. I do like how it's very spread out, not staying one place or the other. A lot of engineers. Maybe upgrade these to T3. In terms of eco, Team 2 winning by about 100, almost 200 mass per second. And in terms of total mass accrued, almost 200,000, more like 150, or 60. Still, 160, 170, but still not an exorbitant amount. Once you get to like 250, well, not 250, like 300, 500, a million, like it really makes a difference. Couple of restorers kind of coast this western side. There's not a lot of AA here, and there's only a T2 flak. T2 flak will not take out those restorers, at least by themselves. Now a couple of sniper bots. It looks like the AR player of Denyo has noticed what Red for You is doing, or no Red for You, excuse me, and is starting to use these to his advantage. Little spider bots, little tiny 4 little legs. Artillery raining. Was that artillery? It was. It was a clink hammer. Oh, that would take out these sniper bots. Only 500 health. Very weak, but can snipe very far. It looks like it's very quiet on the western front. But in an air fight to the northwest, looks like the ASF here for No Red for You going after the gunships. I guess it's kind of both. They're going after ASF and gunships. But it looks like No Red for You will claim air if... yep, all the gunships are gone. The T3 land headquarters, not land headquarters, but at least the factory is still online. That's good. And all those ASF here for Denyo are gone. Does he have any more? No. Well, I guess Snow has a couple, but not enough to really use it to their advantage. Team 1 now has air control. That's going to be a huge advantage here for them. Large sections of the army are split up. There's one up here. Obviously, the lot of build power up here, not really being utilized, but anyway, small little outpost here, large amount of forces here. That's a lot of trebuchets firing. Trebuchets, and I'm assuming there is also some Gunthers in the mix, at least you would think, with all that fire. No, I think that's all trebuchets. No, that's a lot of artillery, or mobile at least. Now that Fat Boy has made its presence known here for No Red for You, it's in the middle of the map. I don't think that's going to last very long, unfortunately. There is some Corsairs online. Where are they going? They're going for the trebuchets? Yeah, they're going for the trebuchets. They take 4 of them out. One of them fairly destroyed. The SAM sites will deal with the rest of those. They'll make another turn. They should be going after that Fat Boy. That's a huge turn. And the shield is down specifically. Looks like Denyo has some power issues. Yep, he's stalling power. And how about Snow? He has some power, but not a whole lot. Got to be wary of that power bar. He's not positive that much, so he's got to be cognizant of what he's producing. But a lot of those trebuchets were taken out. There's a couple of bouncers in there as well. We'll deal with those Corsairs. I like the use of the Corsairs, taking out that annoying target. But you had a Fat Boy that had no shield. I don't know if you knew that or not, but that would have been a great target, especially when you take out the shield. But it looks like, I can build a Fat Boy too, so I'm going to do that. And now that Fat Boy is going to go up pretty quickly unless Team 2 forces the issue, which they might. There is a Colossus. I completely missed this. Oh, well, if that Fat Boy gets any closer, it's not going to go well for that Fat Boy. Large amounts of Percy's, couple of Spearheads, of course, assisting T1 Lobos. Target saturation here is the plan here for Denyo. Another attack to the north here from No Red For You once again. Looks like it's just distractions on all sides. Looks like that Colossus says that Fat Boy is close enough. Oh, it needs to keep moving. It can't stop moving. You got it. You got to keep moving. Takes out a lot of those Percy's with that the vacuum arms. Oh, it might have gotten that Fat Boy had it kept moving. But it does take out a decent amount of those T3 bots here for Team 2. And we see some Corsairs over here. Looks like they're taking out units. Do they even know? They probably know the comm is there just due to the laser. But they can't target them. Oh, you can see the... So on our side, you can see the little, the blue outline of the comm. But for No Red For You, you can see the footprints. It's kind of like a haze. Oh, they saw him. They saw him for a brief second. They see him. The spy planes can notice him with their Omni on board. They can't see him, and then he'll pop off of radar here. Fair, and there he goes. Yep. Oh, man, that Fat Boy. It's just teetering on like will they, won't they, but a huge column of bricks is on its way to deal with that Colossus. That you can see the Fat Boy in construction, and it's actually finished here for No Red For You. He's produced his own. These bricks, oh, they're starting to engage the Titans. Titans cannot fare well against the bricks. They just have too many hit points. A couple of Percy's will take them out, but the Colossus will turn out once again. Target density here for that Fat Boy, doing lots of damage to T3 bots. Colossus pushing forward. A lot of hit points to chew through, especially with the additional shields here for the Cyber player of Snow. But a lot of the focus is going on the Colossus itself. It's already gotten 1 rank of veterancy. Needs 27,000. Queen needs about 10,000 more. Gets that Fat Boy. That will secure him another veterancy. But again, those suction arms dealing lots and lots of damage, just taking bots off the field. And it's dropped into the red. They're trying to go after the Fat Boy. Corsairs fly over the top, take out most of its shield. Colossus will not make it. It does not have enough hit points to make the rest of the trip, and it will die, killing some Percy's with him as well, unless they can get out of range of his death. Nope, 2 of them died. But now that Team 1's player of No Red For You has a Fat Boy, going to create a mutually assured exclusion zone here in the middle of the map. But it does look like the Fat Boy trying to target the other Fat Boy, just slightly out of range due to the fact that it is retreating. So did lose the Colossus. Team 2 did not lose their Fat Boy, and now Team 1 Bombers will just say goodbye to that Fat Boy. In come the bombs here from all these Zeus, and the ASF fly over the top to try to delay that inevitability. It's producing... Oh, look at this. Oh, you love to see it. The Fat Boy is producing some shields. Should build some Cougars. That would be the better idea, but building mobile shields isn't a bad idea. 2 Fat Boys now online here for No Red For You. This eastern position has to now deal with a Monkey Lord here for Snow. Snow could come assist this Fat Boy, the Monkey Lord, and have 2 lasers instead of 1 due to his comm having 1 as well. But his comm looks like it's retreated back to his main base. That would be... Yep, it's going that direction. So that would be a smart idea. But he already has the laser. If he wanted to, he just has built the... Actually, does he have the teleporter? No, that's the cloaking. He could just build the teleporter and just teleport in and kill the comm. There's nothing protecting him. He's got to be thinking about the fact that the Cyber Commander can target him with that telemaser. And now this is just sad to see a bunch of Percy's be assaulted by a lot of artillery fire from a Fat Boy. They're retreating as we speak, but they're waiting in line to go. And while they're waiting, they're getting shot at. A lot of mass just dying here for No Red For You. But it does look like he is making some progress here on this northwestern side with this base here to the west. A lot of clink hammers. And again, creating that exclusion zone that we've talked about in a couple videos. Corsairs fly over the top. They deal with that Monkey Lord. That mass kind of up for grabs. It's not on one side or the other, but a bunch of bouncers will take out a lot of those Corsairs. ASFs will retreat. We'll see. The Fat Boys will push forward, though. There's a lot of artillery here. Not the best idea for Fat Boys. They are producing units as we speak. More and more of these mobile shields They'll try to soak up some of the incoming fire, but I mean, you can only soak up so much before it becomes unbearable. Okay, do not tell me trebuchets. Oh, sorry, these are Serenities. Will take out ASF. Please do not tell me that. Okay, they don't. I was like, whenever you see a ground unit take out an air unit that's not meant to be taken out by that ground unit, like watching Lobos take out ASF is just weird. That's how I describe that, as weird. Bricks are trying to assault the Fat Boy. Only one of them producing units, but I guess it stopped now. But you can see when it's producing units with that back section, it has popped open. You can see the difference between the two Fat Boys. But we are heading to the 44-minute mark. Bombs come over the top. They try to take out the Fat Boy shield, but it's just not enough. There's AA, and of course, it is additional shielding underneath that Fat Boy. The initial shield for the Fat Boy, that's additional shielding. 1 versus 2 really only goes one way unless there's a lot of shielding for the other one. But Bricks cannot get close enough. There's a lot of PD here. We'd like to see even more, but there's also additional sniper bots, so that will assist in that. Another Fat Boy almost finished. Now it's a 3v1 scenario here. So no red for you trying to fight with Fat Boys, but a second one appears here for Team 2. Shield, bubble shield, UEF support commanders going after the mass. Team 2 heavily focused on getting that mass game up and running. Oh, that's the one I want. They are at 35,000 mass reclaim versus 71, a little over half. In terms of total mass accrued, 1.36 million versus not even a million yet. So we'll talk about, what's that, that's 400,000 more mass than their opponents. What are they doing with all that mass? Yeah, there's a fight going on in the middle, but what are they doing with it? Okay, air grid, Colossus, Rascoms. Don't see any nukes, don't see any game enders, don't see any of that stuff. We will have to see the shield. Need more shields? Oh, there's a there went the Fat Boy. Look at all those shields. Need shield boss? That's so many shields. Oh, that's so many. I mean, it's nice to have that many. Does look like a Fat Boy on Team 1 was taken out, though. But this Fat Boy for Team 2's play of Denyo will fall. Can't get out of range fast enough. Goodbye. So they traded 1 for 1. Actually, 1 for 1.5, essentially. I'm going to target this shield preset commander now. 52,000 shields. That's a lot of hit points. Not a lot of firepower, but that's a lot of shields. To the east, ASFs are gearing up to push another monkey. They've reclaimed it, at least the old one, with a bunch of engineers. Corsairs fly over the top, deal a decent section of hit points to that monkey lord, but it's still operational. That comm still has not moved. Now the ASF fight will engage. It does look like No Red For You has the numbers here. Daniel just not throwing them away, but essentially throwing them away. T1 bombers are coming in. I don't know what they're coming in for. The comm is sitting here. Do they know where the comm is? Oh, that's a Rascom. They've known where the comm is for a while, I would assume. Just haven't made an attempt to snipe him. They could have built Corsairs. They could have built Strat Bombers. They could have built a whole bunch of stuff to just kill him. He hasn't moved for a long time. He needs shielding under that comm, or over that comm, not under it. He does have an SMD in the back and has no nuke loaded. But I don't see any nuke launcher icons on the map. At least they aren't built yet. This is just becoming a very nice stronghold here for Team 2's play of Snow. But yeah, I just don't see any effort to end the game. You would think at this point, 47 minutes in, you're thinking, okay, well, play it a little slowly, play it a little defensively. We have a lot of mass incoming. They don't know that, but they have almost double the mass income of their opponent. 500,000 more mass has been accrued for them. It could have pumped out a Paragon, could have pumped out a Maver, could have pumped out a Scathis, or just a bunch of experimentals. We are seeing the first crab, and it's being sent to the middle, but the Fat Boys might deter it. Artillery trying to just force back these experimentals here for No Red For You. No Red For You being kind of cautious with them. This with shield command. Oh, hey guys. Okay, I was like, oh, it's gonna make an out of there, and then it died. Never mind. A couple of the Oblivions were taken out. No shielding. A fourth Fat Boy will finish here soon. Again, I am amazed that sometimes you can play a game for this long and you're like, I want to win, but I don't want to come up with a strategy. Not that I don't, but I'm not thinking of a strategy to win. And so you got to focus on, doing the same thing, but more of it. Does look like an interesting facility with building T3 with a mass fab to reduce the cost and then a couple of shields. Definitely a different configuration of blueprint that I have seen. Usually it's either mass fab farm directly or it's, Quantum Gateway or something like that, but not one like that. That's an interesting one. And it's a UEF one too, so of course I'm always interested in UEF designs and whatnot. Of course, that doesn't mean that the Seraphim or Aeon or Cybran don't have interesting designs, but again, the only couple that UEF are lacking in a few instances. First being like a experimental that can do a lot of damage by itself, so like the Colossus or Crab or Chicken, like those are designed for land engagement. This is designed for sieging engagements. Of course, their TMDs leaves a little bit to desired. Like, it is a buzzkill. It isn't bad. It's direct fire like everybody else but the Aeon, but the Aeon has the best, so kind of lacking in that department. And I mean, their air experimental of the Novax isn't bad, but again, the Seraphim just has the best. It's like the All-Washer is kind of weak, but it's very good. It's like a mobile. Well, I guess the submarine is mobile, but it's like the Nuke, except not as powerful. It's like a submarine nuke, but not as powerful. It's more powerful than a Billy nuke, but not as powerful as a sub nuke, because the sub nuke can kill anything, or any structure at least, even if it's under shield coverage. The All-Washer bomber cannot. If it has a lot of shielding, it's going to take a while. But now we're getting to the 50-minute mark. Does he have any way to end? Like one nuke, I feel like. Oh, he's building a Duke. Okay, somebody has thought about ending the game. The Red FU is going for that. And now it's just air grids, and more air grids here for Team 2. I mean, they're pumping out air. You can win the game with just air. Like, you can do that. Is it the most effective thing to do? It depends. But, and they're just building more and more bases, turtling up like the UEF do. That's what they're partially designed to do. Oh, and then the Seraphim shields. Those are better than the UEF. UEF have the second best. But again, it's pretty much, I take a little bit of the Aeon and a decent amount of the Seraphim with like the hover tech with the T1 bots and stuff like that, and then a couple Cybran pieces here and there. Like the Brick's really good, and the Monkey Lord specifically, it's the cheapest one. It's very effective, can do lots of damage. Obviously, it isn't as strong as the Crab, but it's something. But we are seeing movement here to the east by a Colossus and a Monkey, and there's really not a whole lot to defend against it. The Comm just still sitting there. We have a Colossus moving to the east to intercept. It is a 2v1 scenario, and it does look like both those experimentals are given the order. A lot of AA denying No Red FU's ability to really pump out a lot of Corsairs or T1 bombers. Vapor is going to take a long time to chew through those hit points on that Colossus. I was going to say the Monkey Lord might be the better target, and he does switch over to that. The Colossus will engage the Colossus, but that's a 2v1 scenario. A lot of ASF just blanketing the skies above his experimentals, wanting to protect them. But the push down the middle will occur. It is a pincer maneuver here. We have two experimentals to the east and one down the middle with a bunch of support. One Fat Boy is not going to be enough. Pings go down to take out the SMD, I guess? Or at least caution, maybe targeting the Fat Boy. Now to the west, another push occurs, and this is the issue, of course, with being in a 2v1 scenario on the, the lesser end of that, is when your enemy starts to, surround you. It's really hard to manage all the front lines at the same time. We have, again, those experimentals trying to push. It looks like it was a fade attack here from Team 2's player of Snow. He pulled his forces in, did pretty much what Red FU did earlier. Pulled his forces in, pulled them back, allowed for the, not allowed, but pretty much forced units from No Red to come in and try to intercept, and then now push with the main force with an additional force here to the west from Denyo. Good tactical moves here from Team 2. Seeing lots of good movements here, but the Fat Boy will fall. The shields are trying to come and intercept the shots. Of course, they're trying to build more and more shielding. There are some Percys coming in to assist. That's a lot of Percys. This Crab probably shouldn't be walking forward. One of the Fat Boys does turn around and help assist. That Fat Boy has no shielding. Oh, and it's gone. Oh, these Percys need to get in range. The Crab is going to continue walking forward. It's going to take out the SMD. At least that'd be a nice little target. It's targeting the Fat Boy to the east. The attack order has been given here from the rest of Snow's forces. The Crab will fall, and now those Percys are freed up to target anything else. They're going to target a lot of those shields and a lot of those loyalists. Loyalists do explode and do EMP, so they'll halt the functionality of those Percys for a little bit. The bricks will come in. There's even some trebuchets right here. Bricks will push forward, but the Percys will fall back underneath shield coverage. The bricks are outnumbered quite severely. The Colossus has come back from the west, and now that Fade attack that happened earlier comes back once again. And now we see a bunch of Team 1 bombers are going to take out that that Fat Boy. 2 lasers, focus fire on the Fat Boy, and it's gone. And now, again, that push to the east will do a whole lot, considering now it's going to take time to go back there again. The only thing that really Red for You should do is just literally just push forward, but there's so many defenses. He allowed Team 2 to just kind of hold up and build. He should have been building more and more, but he's built an artillery now. He needs to protect it with his life. We have 2 experimentals coming in. They're focusing the Colossus, which honestly you should be probably focusing the Monkey Lord in that aspect. Where's your T2 Corsairs or T1 bomber spam? You need that now more than ever. I guess there's a couple of Corsairs back here. He wanted to get some distance, I guess, between those units there. But another Colossus coming up the middle. There's a lot of bricks here. Percy's move in to try to assist, and now it's a huge land war going on here in the middle. And then we have that the engagement here to the east. You kind of can see it in the background. Now the Colossus pushing forward. Percys are being outnumbered. The bricks are actually ignoring the Percys, going after the Colossus. Percys targeting the other Colossus. Artillery raining in, dealing with those Percys. That Colossus will fall. It gets a rank of veterancy, I would assume, and then that one dies. Now there's no defenses really, and more pressure constantly being exerted. No Red for You still nearby. Monkey Lord coming in to fire on that column of No Red for You. He's turning around. Overcharges going in, kills the Monkey Lord. But the T1 bombers are inbound. I don't think this is enough to deal with those. There's a lot of AA to coming into support. No Red for You goes, oh, that's where my comm's been in the entire game. He drops into the yellow. Should get the shield on that commander. At least fall back behind this position. All of his forces need to retreat, hold up in one position, and hold fire. But he just control Ks, saying this is probably not going to win him the game. And honestly, yeah, it would have taken probably another 10 minutes or so for Team 2 to win it. But this front position was falling. Over here to the east, this position pretty much fell. He still had a Fat Boy. He had another one back here. He had air control, but it did look like Daniel had a lot of ASFs, considering the Snows ones as well. Lots of shielding. Was going to take a while for that one artillery to puncture through anything at this point. Movement here to the west, taking out these additional facilities. Yeah, it was just he was being closed in slowly but surely. But he did a very good job, considering the fact that he was by himself for essentially, 35, maybe even 40 minutes of the match. So applauding to No Red for You for sticking with it. I would give him the, not the MVP, but he did a lot. Like, he did a lot with what he had. And Denyo and Snow kind of just turtled up. We didn't have that pusher from his comm, just kind of being a little cheeky and with the laser and the cloaking. But yeah, I think No Red for You kind of earns it. Even though he lost, he did the best with what he had, and he lasted a lot longer than I probably would have. So props to No Red for You. He was the last player on his team. His team is now Orange Team. because he's the only player left standing. And again, thank you so much for everybody watching to the end of the video with my little analysis and ramblings and whatnot. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of the video was, and let me know how you feel about what game I should add to the, I was going to say playlist, but the repertoire of my channel. So far, Baldur's Gate 3 is winning by about, is it 25, 30%? It has over half of the vote, and so maybe it has half. It's something around there. But let me know how you feel about that. And again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who does click that red button, and I will see all of you in the next one.